Golden egg. Ooh, I forgot to restock. Oh no. Oh no, don't look. Don't look. I need to restock. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're thinking about doing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're thinking about it. I know you are. I hear you. I hear you thinking about it. I can hear it in my ears. My ear spaces. Stop. Stop thinking about it. Don't look. Don't look at which one I'm putting where. Don't. Don't do it, because I know you'll find a way. You'll find a way to know the one. So quit looking. I said stop. I can feel your eyes piercing the back of my skull. Don't look. Don't do it. Don't do it. Last one. You can almost look. You can open your eyes now. I restock. Now you can open your eyes. Oh boy. What's up, folks? What's up, early gang? Your boy's sick. He's still sick. I don't know if I'm gonna get better. Oh man, I feel awful. But we're here, and we're gonna be doing a nice, calm ASMR stream. Yeah, we're gonna do a nice chill ASMR stream. Everybody's good and chill and calm and cool and kind and good. Very quiet. That's what we're going to be doing today. The loudest part of today's stream is going to be me sniffling every couple seconds. So, you know. Get ready for that, huh? Because that ain't going nowheres. But we got a fun stream. We got a fun stream ahead. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to have a great time. First things first is we're going to have we're going to look through some cool art. What's up, Zando? Early gang. Early girly gang. I guess the way I can be loud is talking to this microphone. That'll save my voice, as if I use the what's up, early gang? Early girly gang. Oh no, are they still gone? Uh-oh, let me turn them back on. Hang on. Yeah, that's from Friday's stream. Hipsy dipsy. I'll fix that. Post haste, Captain. You may have to refresh your stream once I let you know. Oh, that Garchomp. I thought you meant Gachapon. Gerchapon. How many Pokemons do I have? I will let you know here in just a moment. Okay, everything is turned back on. Cool. You may want to refresh your stream. But once you do, you should see things pop up for you. I'll give you a moment to refresh so that you don't miss me telling you. Looks like you did it. You did it. You got it.
Come on, Yokes. Show this Gachapa what you made of.
Come on, Yokes. Really? Didn't have to refresh. Very interesting. Oh, I meant to add in a new command today, too. Maybe I'll do that here in a moment. Because I definitely meant to. Full intention. All right, Yokes. It is a 4-sided die. The odds are pretty high, my friend. Zando, they are pretty high. But let's find out. Because just because they're high doesn't mean they're definite. All right. If it is a crit, I get to pick. Crit success, I get to pick. Crit fail, you get to pick. Moment of truth. Congratulations, Zando. You go ahead and pick me out a game to play. We'll just keep adding those bonus streams in, baby. You and Sneaky both have to give me another bonus now. Okay. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go pull a movie game card here. Today's movie game is... I like this. I like this one a lot. Okay. Morgan Freegod bestows his heavenly gifts upon a gangly man who promptly uses his power to create animal-themed ninja zords for a sextet of teens who need to take down Ivan Ooze. Morgan Freegod bestows his heavenly gifts upon a gangly man who promptly uses his powers to create animal-themed ninja zords for a sextet of teens who need to take down Ivan Ooze. Bruce Almighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Tell me that's not a banger, dude. That's so good. That might be my favorite card in the whole bunch so far. So good. Love it, love it, love it. Chats in the cloud for Zando. We appreciate. I'm gonna go drop over in our Discord, let people know we're live. I'm getting a phone call, as I always am. Nope. Dope. But you already have Battle Block Theater as your bonus, so I'll play it, even if it's not a co-op. I'll just make it a bonus stream, but that doesn't change that you have one today. So you have another game. But we'll count them both. What's up, H-Man? How we doing, H-Man? Cards for today. I made an oopsie. We have 6 Lost Origin packs, 7 Lost Origin packs, and I intended on 8, but you will see that the 8th pack is in fact Astral Radiance. So I think my strep may have started a little bit earlier than I predicted, and that I picked this up whenever I was on Fog Brain, because I definitely thought this was Lost Origin, but it is not. So we have 8 packs of Pokemon cards to open today, and I'm looking forward to it. Oh, but also, we don't just stop there. Once spooky season starts, I found the Trick or Trade packs, the booster battle packs, and Checkpoint bought one and I bought one, and my thought process is, once spooky season is about to get started, I'm actually going to get on the mail wagon, and I'm going to be mailing out the packs to people that enter. So, we'll see. We'll see. That's my current game plan, but that is subject to change. I am only opening Lost Origin today. I did not get a Pokemon Go ETB there, not getting any more monies out of me. I need to go get your card from the mail and just open it. I'm calling it quits. I give up. I lose. They win. I'm gonna not be a sore loser, and I'm gonna call it quits. I can't spend more money on Pokemon Go. I simply cannot. Not interested. Not interested in continuing my investment in that card deck. It would be different if they had some really cool cards, but I've already gotten all the cards that I could possibly want from that collection, with the exception of Ditto. And it's simply not worth it. Simply not worth it. Alright, I'm adding a viewer reward. I'm trying to anyway. I hope it works. All right, I think this worked. I'll make an emoji for it later. But there you go. I got to do some things and step away. When are you opening cards? I don't want to miss it. Well, if that's can you do things after we open cards? Can I open them now and just get it out of the way, and then you'll be able to step away? Does that work? Is that kosher? Or do you need to step away right now, and then I can just plan to do it a little later? Because if I have somebody that wants to watch something, then I'm going to do my best to oblige. You feel? You feel? So you let me know. If that's something that would be beneficial, I might make some tea also. So I got plans. I got big plans. It's all good today. Everything is good, but I understand if we have to step away. So you just let me know when and what time you'll be back, or you'll be gone. Boop. I gotta get Helen in bed, and maybe she'll watch with me. So now is good or not good? Just say go for it or do other things first. Either one of those will do. I'll be gone for the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'll let you know back on with or without Helen. Perfect. That's helpful to know. Then we're gonna do something else first. And it is a super cool thing, a very super cool thing that I want to show you guys. So, what's up, Steven? Thank you for the lurk. As always, let's find out. Let's see where we're at with the Movigites. Wow, 10 episodes left. That's easy math. I've listened to 172 episodes of the Moviga podcast. Wow. Oh, that's wild. I am the MVP. I'll own that. I expect a special role on the Discord if I don't have one already. I expect the best listener. That was what I called myself on Lee's stream. I said I was the best listener, or the most listener, or something. Yeah, I'll own it. I'll own that proudly. So this is something super cool. For any of you that grew up on the Pokemon games, you will remember playing them and having them etched into your brain, playing them on the drives homes with your little swirly lights, that you had over your Game Boy and all that exciting stuff. A group of artists, pixel artists in particular, have gotten together and have decided to make high-quality pixel art renderings of the original game maps, and to make them detailed and interesting to look at beyond just what they might normally be. And so first, what we should do? Hang on. Let me pull this up so that you guys can really get a feel. Let's get a feel. For the map of Kanto. Not the real Kanto. Not the real Kanto. Come on, we all know I mean Pokemons. Who wants to know what the real Kanto looks like? Gross. Not me, thanks. Yeah, this will do fine. This is what it looked like. This is a little bit of what it looked like back in the day. Okay. Here's what it used to look like. Kapow. The Kanto region, right? So whenever you'd pull up your map, this is what it would look like. And you would see, you'd see the Indigo Plateau. You would see all the cool stuff that you've got to look at. If you go down on the actual screen, here, I'll just pull up the actual Pallet Town, just for good measure. Pallet Town is, of course, where you start. Whenever you would pull up the original Pallet Town, this is what you would see. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Kapow. Oh, it's tiny. It's tiny, but that's appropriate, isn't it? So this is what it would look like. Little tiny Pallet Town, okay? What we're going to be looking at today is these artists took this. They first off blew it up. Second off, redetailed everything. They made everything more alive. They made it feel like a living world. Are you guys ready to see? This is called Retroredrawn. Retroredrawn. Retroredrawn.com, I think. And enjoy a journey through the Kanto region. Maybe we'll do the Johto region next week, but today we're doing the Kanto region. Keep in your mind what this looks like. Boom. Wow. Stop. Hold up. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? What are you even talking about? Look at this. Look at how good this looks. What's up, Stained? How we doing? Look at all these fine details in here, okay? This is as minute as it gets here. But you got Professor Oak walking along. You got the 3 starters. You got another ball over here. We all know who that's for. And he's hiding down here in this little cave. He's right here in this little cave. Sneaking. They've got a little shiny Charmander hiding back here behind the tree. Look at this. Look at this. Mr. Mime is creeping back there. It looks so good. It looks so good. Ditto. What's Ditto even doing right there? Nobody knows. Okay, so then of course you would take your journey and you would begin to go up. You begin to go up towards Viridian. Viridian? Probably Viridian. So you go through here. Now I like that this is a thing. It's like they're little caves. That's a really nice touch. Did I say hey, Stained? I'm on sick brain, you guys, so I'm a little bit foggy. If I don't know who you are or where I am, then I might greet you several times. Now this is interesting to me. This Pokemon is not here. Spinarak is definitely not in this region. But I dig it. I dig where this artist went. I love that things are flying. There's depth to these images. So then of course you go through your beginning little part and you end up here in what I swear I can't remember the name of. Oh, what's up, Harry? How we doing? Like I said, this sickness brain, you guys. I just love it. And so I wanted to show you guys, yeah, it was Viridian. I thought so. I just love it. Now here's Gary Oak with his cheerleaders, and he's up here because eventually, of course, Gary takes over the Viridian City Gym. All these people lurking, hanging out. This looks a little bit like gold to me. I don't know if that's supposed to be gold, but it looks a little bit like gold. Look at how good this looks. And then if you're anything like me, you would go over here and train for a while. Wonder what happened. I don't know. I heard he was wrapped up in some sketchy things. So if you're anything like me, you went over here and you grinded for a while, and you were very careful not to go right here. Now, I don't know what they're talking about right here. I don't know what they're thinking about a Squirtle versus a Bulbasaur, because he did not have a Bulbasaur right here. He had a Venusaur, and it was very scary. And if you got in this fight, you really got messed up. So I don't know what they're talking about right there. But whatever. But I would always go here. I'd be sure to catch my Fearow and my Mankey. I'd grind them up. I'd do the best that I could. Then I'd go back up here. I love these Bulbasaur playing in this little den. I didn't even know that was in there, but I love it. Pokeball guy. Continue going up into the Viridian Forest. I really like the idea that the Viridian Forest is like a park, and that people are just kind of hanging and chilling. I don't know where this, I guess this is draining fresh water or something. Fresh water for whenever it rains. I love all the touches. Oh, look, there's a little Caterpie hiding in there. What is he doing? See, they're hiding in here, but they're more out in the open. Oh no, it looks like one's about to evolve over there. Kakuna's about to evolve. Look at this. Come on. Come on, you guys. Look at it. Look at how detailed and gorgeous this is. What is this Pikachu doing? He's just like, oh, what's going on? Let's see, we can actually pull up this little tab here, and that'll help me figure out where I am. That'll be nice. They're even gonna have times where it's at night and stuff, so you can see nighttime versus daytime for where you are, and even what is happening here? Why are they so small? What are we doing? We're journeying through Kanto Redrawn. So some retro artists, or some pixel artists, redrew the Pokemon games in their art style, literally scene by scene. And so you can see everything, and then whenever you zoom out, it's one big map. Oh, bye-bye, Butterfree. So you just get to see all the things that you would see when you were playing the game. So there's a lot of nods to the game. There's a lot of nods to the anime. I haven't seen any nods to the manga yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be any. It just means I haven't seen them. I also like this over here. They continue on that journey down to that region where you get all the extra fun stuff through there. It's just really nice. Did you see that Growlithe? Look at how cute he is. Look at him. He's playing catch. He's playing catch. Come on. Okay, let's go back the way we were going. All right, so obviously we take the journey through here. Then we go up to this other grinding spot that I never liked as much as the other one. Looks like somebody's already cut down the tree right here, so that's really nice. And then you go into Pewter City. Yes! So now here we are in Pewter. Let's take a broader look at Pewter City just to get a full view of the depth they went into here. You got your Pewter City Gym. You have your museum. Your little range of exploration back there. Look at all this stuff. Are you kidding me? Murkrow, another one that shouldn't be here, but is. I like it. I don't know. I guess somebody parked their bike out front of the Pewter Gym. Look at Brock up there. He's just chilling. Brock was always so much cooler. He was always so much cooler. Is that Sabrina? Is Sabrina chilling? Does look a lot like her, doesn't it? I think this I think this Farfetch is about to fly a letter. I think that was the canon in the game here. I really am sorry, folks, that I am under the weather. If I sound gross, I apologize. I am trying my best. My very best. Okay. We go back up to the city. All the shops. Look at that Gengar! What's that Gengar doing? Oh, man, he's such a good boy. He's Golem hiding in there. In the museum, of course, you could break in through this side, or you could go in the main side. Like, I find it interesting they have Unknown up here. Very fun little bits of, like, canon from later games that they added in that I like. I like all these Pokemon and humans working together for fossils, exploring, looking around. Oh, it's great. Okay, so then you go on your journey to Mount Moon, of course, through Route 3. Time to head to Mount Moon. You got the kid that really likes wearing shorts. Some picnickers. Some singing Jigglypuffs. Look at all these pocket hands. Oh my goodness. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I like pixel art anyway, so this is ringing my bell anyway. Look at that shiny Sandslash. Now, interestingly, they didn't really do inside Mount Moon. They just did leading up to it. It's like Brock is teaching Geodude to tackle, I guess. So they did at least do some of the stuff that's inside, outside, so you get a better look at it. I love it so much. Okay, so then you exit, inevitably, and start heading towards Cerulean. Wow, that's an epic fight right there. Holy moly, look at that. Vulpix versus Pikachu. That's epic! So epic. I am going the right way, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, so then you go and you continue to explore. Wow, that's dope! Who did this, man? This has been my favorite section of the map so far. Whatever artist is behind this section is dope. They have a lot of eye for motion. Look at that. You're getting the water brushing up against the rock. You're getting Gyarados jumping out. And you're getting the line as he's fishing. PTCG is going to be after the map. We're waiting on Xando to get back from laying Helen down. There's another Growlithe. Look, Growlithe's enjoying a barbecue. Growlithe. Looks like we have some sunbathers here. Oh, an Arcanine. Police chief's blocking Mewtwo in with Arcanine. I just love it. Now we're in Cerulean. We've got Officer Jenny and Growlithe up there protecting. Of course, we got to go visit Bill. So we'll go see what Bill's up to up here. Go through the Nugget Bridge. Very nice. I like how that Ekans is wrapped through his legs. That's really nice. A nice touch. We continue our exploration down whatever in the world route this is. Who knows? We visit Bill. Oh, now interesting. They actually send us on the other side of Bill towards a little DLC section here, huh? All sorts of characters that aren't in this. So I guess Bill was blocking all of the god Pokemon, I suppose. That's pretty dope. Look at that terrifying Dragonite. That's a reference to the anime. Oh, even Jirachi's up there. Look at little Jirachi. And then a random Wingull. I see Mew down there. What a jerk, Bill. I love it. I love it so much. It looks so good. Okay, so then we get done with Bill. We head back down, of course. I always went down this way. I don't know if you guys did, but I certainly did. Go down this way. Jump over. Now you're able to go through. So we go through. We work our way down towards Lieutenant Surge. Work our way down. Stop by the daycare guy. I love that the daycare guy is out mowing. I love that he's mowing so much. Oh, that's so charming. Okay, he's mowing. We go through the underground tunnel, of course. There's a shiny Abra teleporting away. He's surprised by us. All right, somebody's guarding, so we'll just have to skip through because, of course, we skip through. We go through the tunnel to the other side. There's some combies chilling. We're going down to see Lieutenant Surge. Yes! Yes! Oh, that hurts my throat, but I love it so much. Look at that. That is so great. I love the bat signal, the Zubat signal, and I love the Squirtle Squad hanging out behind the building. So nice. Zubat Man. Very, very funny. The Pokemon Center is combined with the Pokemon Fan Club. I'm sorry. Is Nurse Joy out for a smoke, dude? All right. Whatever floats your boat, I suppose. Now I can see that Machop. Oh, no, he didn't. He's up here. I was going to say Machop finished his job here. What? What is it there, huh? Okay. What is it with nurses smoking and our monster battling? Animon story. Rip, my friend. I miss it. No, that was where... No, there was no Snorlax there. There was no Snorlax there. Snorlax is right here. Snorlax is right here. Yeah. What? Somebody misremembered. There's no Snorlax there. Okay. I love this little... very nice. There are two, but not there. The other one's over here. I'll show you whenever... I'll show you where the next one is. It's outside of... Oh, excuse me. It's outside of Celadon. We got the gym here. They don't show us Lieutenant Surge for whatever reason. Then, of course, you get on the boat. Time to get on the boat. So you go and you get down on the boat. There's a big old muck in the jacuzzi. Looks like Growlithe is winning the day. Look at that dope Growlithe. Oh, he looks so cool. And Mew, of course, Mew is hiding. He's not under the truck. He's behind the canisters. He was behind the canisters the whole time. We thought he was under the truck. We were wrong. We were dead wrong the whole time. All right, and that actually looks like the guy from the movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. And we succeeded. Looks just like him. Stop. Is that the reference they're making? I love it. Okay. As soon as you get back from the boat, hang on, let's make sure they don't send us anywhere the boat. They don't. Get back from the boat, and then you're able to progress. If there isn't a missing node by Cinnabar, I guarantee there will be. Finally, you're able to make some progress. You go up here. You start to... Oh, nope. Not far enough. You go up here. Make your adventure. Keep on going down this route. I like the shiny Geodude there. Very nice. Very nice touch. Oh, no, it's a Jolteon. I thought it was a shiny Vulpix. It is not. I like how tall that Pokemon Center is. No smoking nurses this time. They've even got the little Zapdos reference down there. If you decide to go. Power is 9,000. It's over 9,000. Not much. Not much, but it is over 9,000. Just enough. That is a Pikachu. I didn't even notice the Pikachu. Oh my goodness. And who is this? I don't know. Okay. We're not sure. Oh, we're not going to Lavender Town yet, are we? No, yes we are. Yeah, we skip ahead. We're going to Lavender Town. Ooh, they made Lavender Town a little spooky. A little spooky there. I like the spooky eyes. Love the tower. I love that Marowak's up at the top. Mama Marowak. And we got Mr. Fuji. Yeah, Mr. Fuji there. What is happening? What is happening here? What is this a reference to? What is happening? Why is he dead? Sir, stop it. Sir, I beg of you. I beg of you to please stop. Then we can explore over here, but we can't really do much because we don't have the thing. I love that Ditto! That actually looks like the guy from Omori, the whale. The whale, whatever his name was. They took all the trainers from this section. I find that interesting. Very nice. We make it here, but we don't have any lemonade, so there's nothing we can do. We go down here. Start to explore. I love the Balloon Pikachu reference. Very nice. Adventure our way through. Get ourselves a fishing rod. Look at all these pocket mans. Man, there's so many Snorlaxes in this world. I guess canonically, why wouldn't there be, right? What? Is that a Pooh? Is that a Winnie the Pooh? It looks just like Pooh Bear. Oh, Bulba. I like this Dragonite just chilling with an old lady. That's definitely a trainer. She looks very familiar. That sprite looks way familiar. Yes, the artists are different. The artists are different. I will drop the link when we're done. And I would highly advise everyone to check out the, you can see the artist change right there. I would highly advise you to check this out. It's a huge thing. There's a tour that they take you on. You can look at the artists. You can look at different times of day. You can do a lot of different things. You can look at the original game compared to it. There's tons of stuff you can do. It's very cool. Go down here, we make it through this awful maze. I always hated it. Though it was a great place to grind, at least. They're getting some ice cream. That's very nice. What's Ditto doing there? Ditto has made himself into the rocks, which is very kind, very nice. All right, head our way down. Keep on going. Ooh, this is more populated than I would have ever predicted. This little spot. There's like buildings and stuff and greenhouses. I like it. I like it. Oh no! Oh, he's making a phone call. And oh, what are these Growlithe and Arcanine doing? Just training, I guess. I love their eyes are all doofy in this one. Whatever artist this is really likes the doofy-eyed Pokemons. Heracross! Look at my boy! Alright. Then we go into Fuchsia City. We go catch ourselves some Pokemons. Alola! Wow, he put the Alolan Pokemon in there. That's really nice. See, that makes so much sense to me. If they ever go back and make the old Pokemon games, I sure hope they put regional variants. That's such a nice touch. Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful game or art development. All right. Pokemon imports, because that's what they are. That's what the zoo is. All right, now this weird section. Let's see. He finds the thing. He found the teeth. Or no, he found Surf. Where are the teeth? I would love if there was just a picture of the gross teeth. Oh, interesting. This section's designed by somebody different. I love it. Let's open some cards. As soon as we're done looking through, we're gonna go all the way to the Indigo Plateau, because why not? Oh, he's fishing. He's fishing. I love it so much. Safari Zone was great. Okay, after we're done the Safari Zone, we'll go up there, because this was the alternate route. It looks like somebody is getting... like somebody's busted there, all right. We head our way on up. Ooh, somebody went with the classic art style. That's very fun. Classic art, just updated. Oh no, why are they all trained on whoever this is? Who is this? He's like Akira-ing through the city. What on earth? This is a mess. This is an absolute mess and I love it. What's Chansey doing? He's got his map out. Delibird! My boy! My boy is here! Oh, I love him so much. He's such a good boy. Look at him. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Oh no. What is happening? Oh no, he's doing the Akira slide. Okay. I thought that was blood. He's doing the Akira slide there. Very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. I love it so much. So then we get into Celadon. This is where the other Snorlax is, Barry. This is where the Snorlax is right here. You have a little shopping center where you get Fly, all that jazz. Let's go into look at Celadon. Look, they've got a promotional up for their Kanto Redrawn feature. Very nice. Water Tower, Team Rockets, graffitied the game corner. I love it so much. It looks so good. It all looks so good. And I love there's a highway. Well, there's a highway wrapping around Celadon. I didn't even realize. I don't know if that's a thing. Okay. Luckily, we know Surf, so now we're able to go and get our 8th Pokebadge. So we're going to go ahead and go get our 8th Pokebadge. Down here at Cinnabar. Of course, after going through the legendary birds. When we go to Cinnabar, let's see if there's a missing no. I personally always fish for mine right here. I don't see one yet. Maybe not. maybe there's no missing no reference in this one. That's surprising. I would have thought there would have been. No missing no reference. But it does look great. Cinnabar does look fantastic. Maybe we just haven't seen it. But this is where, I don't know about you guys, this is where I would always swim. You did get another Mew. We got a shiny Gambitime. You got it. Let me pull it up. We got to go to the Indigo Plateau first. Then we're back where we started. We go to the Indigo Plateau, work our way up, fight all these battles, do the best we can. Gonna be the very best. What happened? What happened with the Diglets? What did Diglett do? Oh my goodness. Diglett, what are you doing? And then Grimer's like, you see what Diglett did? I didn't do this. I wasn't the one that did this. Okay, now we're up to the Victory Road. Now we go up Victory Road. Fight our final battle against the one and only. Wow. Natu and Shiny Natu are watching us. Oddish and Shiny Oddish are watching us. Really nice balance here. Nice balanced artwork. This trainer went up against it with these 6. Charizard, Lapras, Machamp, Pikachu, Espeon, and Snorlax. Not sure where he got an Espeon in Fire Red. Oh, maybe Fire Red. Maybe Fire Red did. Interesting. Interessant. And then the best part of this whole thing is that then you get to zoom all the way out and see the whole thing. Look at this. Look at all this hard work. Look at all this hard work and effort. Oh, yeah, we already saw that. Look at all this hard work and effort that went into this. Incredible. Incredible. This is by Pixel Pit. I follow almost all these people. So you can click on original map later if you want to. So we can go back to some of the things and like look at what they originally looked like, right? This is by Edelweiss. Edelweiss Pokemon. Bam. Look at how boring. Wow, boring. Wow, boring. Wow. It's amazing, right? It's truly incredible what just a little bit of love can do. A little bit of love. I wanted to see, which was the one I was so impressed with? I think it was Celadon. Celadon's the one I want to see more of. I want to see what it looked like originally. There was a road up top. Interesting. What was that road? Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it so much. There you go. That's Retroredrawn. Maybe next week we'll look through Johto if you guys enjoyed this. If not, then maybe not. But I'm going to post the link in chat so that you guys can go and support the website, visit it, bookmark it, follow it, whatever things you can do there. I'll let you do it there. And with that, we're going to do a Gamba. Let me pull up Creator Dashboard real fast. Gamba time. And then we'll do some Pokemon trading card game. And then we've got a new super fun ROM hack to play. No, that's not a card we'll be doing today. Wow, wow. Right off the bat. No, I can't. I can't do this one. I can't do this one. I can't. No! No! What is with these cards? They have gotten so adult out of nowhere. Okay. All right. All right. This one is more than appropriate. Let me see. Saucy. We're going to start a poll. Nope, a prediction. Did the last text MPN sent contain an emoji? Yes. No. 1 minute on the clock. Get your channel points in. Predict. Predict away, babies. While we're doing that, I'm going to get my camera set up here. You should have seen it just pop up. This is a chance for big channel points, folks. Big channel points. Do not miss your shot. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You gotta lose yourself in the music, the moment. You better never let it go. I'm not throwing away my shot. Okay. My shoes. Uh-oh. I can't remember what my camera looks like right now. We're gonna hope that's enough. We're just gonna hope and pray. All right, channel points. It is time. Did the last text sent by Nerd Pastor Nate contain an emoji? Let's find out. Go to my text messaging app here. It did not. Wow. That's surprising. I use a lot of emojis. Congratulations to our winners. Big congrats. Now we're going to open some Pokemon cards. Hopefully. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Okay, looks like we are. It is sideways, however. It's kind of ugly. Wonder if that's too much of an angle. Looks alright, doesn't it? Looks alright, don't it? Don't it? Looks alright, don't it? There was another Gamba? I missed the other Gamba. H-Man did another Gamba, you got it. Was there another Gamba after that? Okay. Okay, start a prediction. Has, not gas, has Nerd Pastor Nate ever ridden a mechanical bull? Yes. No. 1 minute on the clock. Prediction has been started. In the meantime, I'm going to be opening up Pokemon cards. So we have all the packs out. We have exactly 1 Astral Radiance. I just changed the trash liner, and then nothing bothers me more. Because I'm about to fill it up with all this Pokemon card trash. Zeraora. Zeraora. Boop, boop. Zeraora coin. Very nice. Start us off with a Score Bunny in that pack. I do love Score Bunny, so I'm happy about that. I need a place to put these things. 8 seconds remaining. Get your points in now. All right, there's our first Lost Origin. 6 more to go. All right, prediction outcome. Has Nerd Pastor Nate ever rode a mechanical bull? The answer is, wow, 1 person. 1 person voted and they voted correctly. No, I've never done that. I've never done that. I'm not opposed to it. I have no problem with it. To be honest, the opportunity hasn't arisen. All right, this one came with a Surfetched. Surfetched coin, if I can get it to focus. Yep, Surfetched, very nice. Helen called out and I missed this. Oh no! It's all good, man. I'm sorry you missed them. Missed that opportunity for channel points. All right, we got a couple more packs here. Trace Moss. All right, and then our final Lost Origin pack of 3 cards. Triple boost. Another Surfetched coin. And a Weevil. You love to see it. There we go. All right, so now we got 7 packs. Do you ever get cards in different language? I do, but you never see those at the Walmart. Are there any cards in here that I'm hoping for? I would love the Alt Art Akari. That would be fantastic. Alt Art Akari would be fantastic. But I'm not putting my bet on that. The Alt Art cards are pretty hard to find. But that would tickle me. All right, we're going to start with Astral Radiance. Then we're going to go in order. We got 3 of the whatever this guy's name is. I can't remember ever, the love one. Then we've got 2 of the Gardevoirs. And then we got 1 Giratina. One Zorua. Zoroark, or whatever it's called. So we're going to go in order of most to least. That's the way I normally like to do them. That way we're opening. The last time we also open a full sweep of all 4 types. So we'll find out. But yes, H-Man, whenever I go to a market where they sell cards in other languages, I do. I have a humble collection. A humble collection of Japanese Pokemon cards. I'd be happy to get out if you'd like to see them. I unboxed them here on stream. I'm almost 100% sure. All right, 1, 2, 3 to the front of our Astral Radiance. And we'll just see. Hey, Stained got it. Stained is first. Congratulations to Stained for being first on this stream. Wow. Big ups. Curlia, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit more because this just doesn't feel like enough zoom. We can definitely get more detail. A little too close, but that's fine. Is that too close? Does that feel a little too close? Curlia. All right, first up. Curlia. Canceling Cologne. Shield on. Oh no, my ad is about to start. Should I snooze for 5 minutes? We'll snooze the ad for 5 minutes. Shield on. For anybody that doesn't, I think everybody here is subbed, but just in case. Magnemite. Ralts. A Hisuian Sneasel. I believe you get at least 1 holo card in each pack, sometimes 2. I see Japanese cards in shops and never had any desire to grab them. Yeah, I like them. That's new. What's new? Which is new? Misdreavus. Barboach. I'm out of the screen. I need to get over here. What? Are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? On 1 Astral Radiance? I get so many Radiant cards. I am so lucky with the Radiant cards. I don't know what the deal is. We're setting that one aside. I'll show you guys a closer look. I love that it's like a sunset picture. That's really nice. I'll show you guys a little bit closer. Our Radiant Greninja here. So the Radiant cards are shiny. You very rarely use them. You really just keep them to look at and show them off and trade. But it is gorgeous art, isn't it? Very pretty stuff. Yeah, you must discard an energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. That's really not very good, especially not for a 3rd evolution. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 90 damage to 2 of your... That's pretty cool. That's not bad. Moonlit Shuriken. Not too bad. I'll probably never use that in a match, though. Only use 1 Radiant per game. That makes sense. I have no context for what is rare or not rare on PTCG. Typically, you can tell just because it feels rare. Like, it's pretty obvious. It's rare. Like, you don't normally find a rare card except for an art card that looks like a normal card. Most rare cards are like, "Bow, I'm spray painted gold," and they'll be like, "Okay, well, this is pretty obvious, right?" What's up, Kuro? All right, we got our first Lost Origin pack here. 1, 2, 3 to the front. I'm gonna go through them. Moment of truth. Find out what we got today. This is a box of disaster. Is that how this stream is about to go? Is this gonna be a box of disaster? I'm hoping for the alt card Aerodactyl is super rare as well. Any of the art cards are rare. Stunfisk. Seviper. Phalanx. Love Disc. Oddish. Litwick. Ooh, a Jinx. Reverse Sableye. And now our rare card. Let's find out what it is. Not rare at all. Raichu. Okay, first card is this. The first booster pack is this right here. A box of disaster. No, the Sableye was pretty cool. All right, now we're going to do a double sweep of the whatever this one is. I can't remember this one's name right now. It's an omen, a bad omen. And then we're going to do a Gardevoir, and then we'll do the full sweep of the whole set of four types. Okay. 1, 2, 3 to the front. What? That's really weird. There's a card in here that was backwards. I didn't do this. The packaging did it backwards. Does that mean it's an extra? Yeah. There's 11 cards in here. Don't you normally get 10 cards? Enamorous. That's hilarious. Seal it back up. It's an error. I got an error. I got 11 cards in this one. Fascinating. So I got a bonus trainer card here, a Rezu, for free. All right, did I do 1, 2, 3 to the front? I can't even remember. Yeah, I did. Okay. Here we go. Are Pokemon misprints a big deal? Yeah. Only if you're going to get it graded. Relicanth. Oh, and then I got an actual Rezu. Fascinating. Torkoal. Ooh, nice. Hisui and Zorua. They are super neat, but they are especially neat if you're going to get graded, like I said. Because they will measure your misprint if you were to send it off. Duckling. Ooh, that's a dope Porygon. I love that art. Oh, that looks great. Yeah, I like that art a lot. Very nice. All right, second most rare is a reverse Murkrow. Then our rare card is, ooh, Drapion. Cool. Drapion V. I'll take it. Got no problem with the V battle card. No qualms or complaints here. All right, our first Gardevoir pack. What is V? It's just strong. They limit the number you can have in a deck. They have special features. Special things about them. It's just ways to throw more challenge into certain games and to limit challenge in other games to make it easier for some and harder for others. All right, Hisuian Sliggoo. Sliggoo. They don't limit V cards, at least not in PTCGO. Interesting. You would think they would. All right. Galarian Stunfisk. Hisuian Zorua. Finian. Blipbug. I keep getting out of this camera. Ducklet. Another of the cool art Porygon. A reverse Squovit. And our rare card, a Cramorant. Now this is weird. Definitely a weird Cramorant. I've never seen this particular art before. And I'll show you what I mean. There's like rainbow gas coming out from behind his box. I've never seen that before. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but it is a star rarity rating, so it's rare enough. Maybe it's an alt art. I've never seen a Porygon card that was useful in game. What is this Porygon? Branch calculation. Look at the top 4. Put them back in any order. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good card. And then 10 for Beam. That'd be a good one to get in your hand right at the beginning. All right. I don't know what this Cramorant's about, but okay. All right. Now it's time for the full sweep. We're gonna do one of each in the order that we just did, starting with our Enamorous pack, the final Enamorous. Moment of truth. We did get our rarest card was from a different series. That's hilarious. 1, 2, 3 to the front. Cotton candy gas goes around the art meet. It's in the Lost Zone. Okay, well I got a Lost Zone Cramorant. He's real lost. Oh boy, guys, I'm a Cramorant and I'm real lost. Uh-oh. Ooh, that's a cool Minshao. Nice art. Do cards get out of standard, or can you use any card in your deck no matter how long it's been out? No, definitely not. You absolutely cannot. Thornton. Here's a who. Barris. Spinarak. Finian. Blipbug. Inkay. All right, second most rare card coming up. Whoa! Crobat V Alt Art. Hey, that's a pretty good card. That's a pretty good card. That's pretty rare right there. An alt art. So this is the alt art cards. Because they have all art in the background, they normally have a trainer with them. So let's see if I can get to focus. There you go. Got the alt art in the background. I love Crobat too. I normally have a Crobat on my team in game. Super cool. Yeah, that's a good card. Dark Asset. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, onto your bench during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hands. You can't use more than 1 Dark Asset ability each turn. Venomous Fang, 70 and poisoned. That's pretty strong. Pretty strong. All right, and then our most rare card, supposedly. Oh, another lost. Oh no, I'm Barbaracle. Oh boy, you guys, I'm Barbaracle, and I'm real lost. You guys, I'm lost. I'm Barbaracle, and I don't know where I am. Gee whiz, you guys, I'm real lost. Okay, so we got 2 lost Pokemons here. I'm gonna set them aside, I guess, because there's something special about them. What was the answer to my question? Yes, cards do go out of standard. They have well, I don't know. I guess there are definitely some banned cards, but typically, I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know how many cards stay in and how many cards go out. I don't know if it's like a timed thing or if it's more of just like some things get too strong, and there are cards that you won't use unless you're just a doofy. Like a lot of the original cards, the very, very beginning cards are super weak. I hate this thing. Doggone it. It's the V-Star card. I hate the V-Star card so much. It always gets me hyped because it looks like something that it's not. Okay. This is our last Gardevoir pack. Here we go. Porygon 2. Garbage Attack. Hey, that's what... that's what Xando says all Porygons do. All Porygons do garbage attacks, right? Another one. I'm real lost. Oh boy, I'm a Porygon and I'm lost. Ooh, Colress's Experiment also lost. Also lost. Bronzong. Horsey. Lickitung. I like that Lickitung art. A little, not a lot. Clefairy. I like the Clefairy art much more. Wurmple. All right, our rare card. Right? No, not yet. Murkrow. Now our rare card. Is it Kingdra? And Comfy. Oh boy! Oh boy, you guys, I'm lost on the way to the Luau. I'm a lost Luau Comfy. I look just like a lay and I'm real lost. What's up, Mac? How we doing? I'm gonna put all these lost Pokemon together. Has there been any other losts and I've missed them? They should call this game Lost Origin because I'm lost. I don't know what it is about Clefairy and Clefable, but I really like them. They aren't that special or powerful. I just dig them. Very cool. I like Clefairy. No harm here. All right, this is our only Giratina pack we're about to open here. How was everyone's weekend, by the way? I realized I haven't been greeting them with that. Mac, did you end up still? Are you sick? Because I remember in Jate's chat, I think you said you were potentially dealing with something. I still haven't heard back from my strep test. Thornton. Komala. Carbink. Binacle. Ooh, I love that Ghastly. Ooh, look at that Ghastly. Oh, he's so sweet. Electrike. Bronzer. Sudowoodo. I like that Sudowoodo art. Ooh, Roserade. Okay, all right, all right. Ooh, wrapping it up with an Amorous V. Very nice. Now let's take a look at that card a little more, huh? Enamorous, Guardian of Love, prevents all effects of your opponent's Pokemon abilities done to each of your Pokemon that has any psychic energy attached to it except for an Enamorous. Attach up to 2 basic energy cards for your discard pile. Wow, that's really good. Wow, that's fantastic. It does 100 damage, and then also you lay 2 energies from your discard. Very nice. Mac, I'm not feeling great. I'm not feeling great. In fact, I'm about to go blow my nose because I feel like I'm being gross. Okay, we're back. The last pack. The last pack. We've really only had a couple of exciting things this round, so it's very interesting to me. Whenever I don't do ETBs, I feel like I get less rare cards. I know that's not how randomization works, but for some reason I feel like ETBs get me rare cards. Okay, here we go. I did get one art card, and I think there were like 6, so that's pretty rare. 1, 2, 3 to the front. Moment of truth. Last pack. Final countdown. This is it. All the beans. All the beans. Oop, and we're lost. Oh no! I'm lost in a mirage. I'm really lost. I'm so lost, you guys. Cascan. Still dealing with some issues with my tonsil and lymph node, but like I was saying in his chat, I have an autoimmune issue. My body has a tantrum, so sometimes that could be it. Well, hopefully, whatever it is, it goes away quickly. Xando says, busy weekend here. Had to work a wedding at church on Friday. One of my best friends got married on Saturday, and then we started doing test streams for the online campus yesterday. Rock on, online campus. We love to hear it. Yampa Bomb. Jinx. Litwick. Oop, I'm out of camera again. Got distracted. Oddish, looking all sweet and alone. He actually looks like he's about to be in a Flash cartoon. Look at my horse. That's what it looked like. My friend used piano versions of Stardew songs as gathering music before the ceremony. That's so good. Ew, you have to blow your nose. Yucky, gross. Unsub. Ooh, gift energy. I love the rare energies. Big fan of that. Let's see what our final card is. Oh no, you guys. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh no, I'm a buffalo and I'm so lost. Oh no. Oh, my headbutt. I'm gonna have to have a real lost headbutt. Oh boy. Oh gosh, I'm so lost. What a silly thing. What a silly thing that I got so many rare cards that were just lost. A little bogus. A little bogus to put so many rare cards as lost cards. I feel like that should have been. Lost Zone is a discard pile that you can't shuffle back. Delightful. So I can't have them. So they're just bad. Surely there's got to be something good to them. The most expensive card I own is probably Charizard. Probably. Probably Charizard. This bad boy right here. See if I can find it. But you know what? No, it's going to be in a glass case. So that Buffalon can knock energy off of an active Pokemon and the player just loses. Oh! The cards that they attack become. I see. Not the card itself. I thought you were saying if my Buffalon died, then it would be lost forever. And I was like, well, great. I would say my most rare card is this one right here. The Charizard VMAX. I think that's probably the most expensive one I own. I don't know how much it's worth now, but whenever this deck came out, it was worth like 600. And then the card that I love the most is, of course, my girl, Marnie. I love Sassy Trainer. Sassy Trainer Rainbow Marnie. Yeah, so I try to put my favorite rainbow cards in plastic sleeves, so at least they can be kept up a little bit. I don't know if I'll ever send them off to grade. I really have no interest in ever making money off Pokemon cards, but who knows? It's really just a fun hobby that I enjoy doing. Let's see if this pinches my fingies. It tried to pinch my fingies, but I said no. Do not pinch my fingies. I refuse. Okay. All right. Okay. Now it is time to get on to the next exciting thing for our afternoon. This should take up the rest of stream, assuming this game is not crazy short. There's a game that I heard about on Tiki Tac the other day, and so we're going to give it a shot. Let's see if it's in the categories. It is not. Okay. We'll do Pokemon Fire Red then. I don't think it's a ROM hack, but we're going to call it Pokemon Fire Red. So this is a game called Pokemon This Gym of Mine, and the point of the game is that you are, instead of a trainer, you are being trained to be a gym leader. So I don't know exactly what that means, but we're gonna play it and see if we can figure it out. As I understand it, I think you have to pick a type, and then you have to like raise that type. I don't know. We're gonna learn together, you and I. You and I are gonna learn together. Are you guys ready? Let's do it. So this is Pokemon This Gym of Mine. I'm gonna go ahead and pause Spoofy because I reckon this game has music. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a nice chill stream because, as I've mentioned several times already, I don't feel great. But I'm here. If we need to do ASMR, we'll do ASMR. Okay. Let's do this. As I understand it, like I said, this is not a ROM hack. It is a, you know what? Considering the chat is right there, I'm just going to do this right here. I'm going to drag it. No, well, then it blocks me, doesn't it? Am I blocking more of the screen, or would this block more of the screen? I guess this will do that. Yeah, we'll do this way. We'll do this way. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Go on my gut. Okay. I tried to change some of the options around to try to make it a little bit more pleasing, but who knows? Gym leader registration starting. Please be patient. Okay. Hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. Welcome to Gym Leader registration. This program is designed to help ensure the gym you take over is customized to fit how you battle. You have been chosen for your skill. Let me know if it's way crazy loud, folks. You've been chosen for your skill and promise as a trainer. We know you won't let us down. If you need help, I am certainly capable of giving it. Well, I guess I need to know everything about how this game works. A little bit loud, you got it. Let me know if that's any better. Okay, moves the character, scrolls through, C confirms, checks, talks, X exits, cancels, Z hold down while walking to run, F is used to register a key item. Okay, that's... So I'm using spacebar, so if you need help. I could be using C. O. Turns out the C also closes out of the menu, so that's fun. Your job is to test the strength of local trainers to ensure only the best of the best make it to the champion. However, that is not all. The city that owns the gym will expect a lot from you. Keep them happy and, most importantly, safe. You will be a role model to some, a challenge to many, and overall a great trainer. This is more than just you flaunting your power. This is your chance to put yourself in new situations, some you've never dreamed of. Get in touch with the community, help the weak, challenge the strong. This is your duty. If you need help, I am certainly capable of giving it. Oh, that's what I was doing. I was talking about my job. No info needed. As you are well aware, there is a certain restriction placed on gyms. Only Pokemon of a single type can be used at a gym, although there are some exceptions. We'll talk more about this later. For now, give it some thought. It seems some of the program's data is corrupted. Which picture is yours? The masculine one or the feminine one? We'll be boys today. We'll be masculine presenting. All right, can you please re-enter your name? We're obviously checked. Okay, I thought I'd be able to type with my keyboard. Oh no, check. Nope. So your check, yes. Check, are you ready? Your time as a gym leader draws near. You'll face fun times and tough challenges. Everything you do matters. Keep up experiences, young trainer. Let's get you started. Check. Now, about the type you will master. Please choose the gym that that represents your partner Pokemon's type. What do you guys want to do? Should we put up a poll? Let's do a quick poll. What type gym? Okay, first 5 I see are the ones we vote between. Fighting. What else? People just shout them out. First 5 that I see are the first 5 I put up on the board. I'll put one. I'll put grass. I like grass. Fashion. Raven Rook. I dig it. I'm going to say that's fairy type. I don't even know if that's an option. Poison. That's tough. Ghost. And normal. All right, there's your 5. 1 minute on the clock. Please vote. Vote for your favorite option. I'll go vote for mine. Because I think it'd be tough. They're all gonna be tough, really. Oh, you mean type? I was definitely yelling at the screen. I need sleep. Oh no. I mean, if I had the ability to hear what you were yelling, then I would have been very appreciative. All right, we're almost halfway through our timer. Halfway through the timer. Let me know. By the way, is sound better? Is it still super loud? Let me know. Tell me if it's loud. We're a third left. 20 seconds. A little loud, but just because of the sick voice, I can lower it another half. All right, results are poison. I really appreciate that, you guys. Pretty much the worst one I could think of. Pretty much the worst imaginable. All right, poison it is. I bet it's this one. I sure do. Nidoran. Ooh, I could have a Nidoking gem? That's pretty dope. Yeah, I'm going Nidoking. And Pokemon geared towards offense. Is this your Pokemon? It is. Yes. Would you like to give a nickname to Nidoran? Of course. King. Because I have the Sniffles today, its name is gonna be Sniffles. Brian with a Y will be the next Pokemon's name. Sniffles! Brian with a Y will be our next Pokemon's. All right, check. Your time has come. You will begin tomorrow. Prepare yourself, and we will see you there. Sniffles, all caps. Ah, you must be the new gym leader. Welcome to the New Day Plain. You're taking... Or, no, this is an old man. You're taking over the gym in Umble City, yes? I'm the mayor there, Dalton. I'll be responsible for keeping you up to date and whatnot. Can I get your name? Check. Wonderful. I can sense you'll do great. You certainly can't be worse than the last one. I don't know what happened, but he just left the city to rot one day. What's worse is that this gang has taken up residency in the town recently. Even then, he did nothing about it. As such, some of the townsfolk are less than eager to have a gym leader. But don't worry, if you follow my advice, we'll reshape the image of a gym leader. The path to Umble City is pretty straightforward. I'll be waiting for you in front of the gym. See you then. You did remember to bring everything with you, right? Pokedex, Pokegear, and your running shoes. Feel free to check before you get too far. I like how she was actually in his way. Am I supposed to grind? Do I have Pokemons? Pokemon balls, I mean? I do not. In fact, I have none of my key items either. Even though they're in the menu, they actually are not there. They're not real. You're not real, man! I want to do exploring, but I feel like I should just go. Oh, we're just fighting, huh? So you're the new gym leader. Let's see what you've got. I just got here. I have a level 5 Pocketmans. You're gonna be sending out a Starling? Let's do it, Sniffles. Not exactly my favorite start. We're gonna hope for a poison. Ooh, crit. I like a crit. I'll also take a crit. Let's see what else she has. Flababy. Flababy. Flababy's not grass? Flying is not strong against grass? Flying is just strong against... What? You for real? Could have done poison the whole time. I didn't know that. Learning new things every day. I definitely thought that flying was strong against grass. Yeah, Sniffles. Well, I'll be. Your reputation went up by 10. I like to think she just says that. Am I supposed to be fighting all these people? I just want to go to the town. Is this my home? You can't just let yourself in, that's rude. I reckon. Mr. Meyer! Mr. Meyer! Mr. Meyer! Mr. Meyer! Mr. Meyer! Mr. Meyer! There you are.
Ah, glad to see you made it. How was the trip? I hope the locals didn't treat you too poorly.
Anyway, sir, you're talking to no one. Sir, excuse me. Sir, hello. Sir, Dalton.
Anyway, tomorrow is when you get down to business. You'd better get ready. Here, let me show you where you'll live while you're here.
You're floating, sir. Sir, you're floating.
This is your home. Get yourself set up and meet me at the town hall afterwards.
Okay. You can't sleep yet. You need to meet the mayor. Reckon so. Yeah, I'll check out the TV. What channel? The news. Turn it on just as it went to commercial. Classic me. Local news anchor is clamoring on about how much of a disappointment you'll be as a gym leader. You know what? Who needs news? Poke Corner. If a Pokemon uses an attack that has the same type as it, the attack deals more damage. This is commonly known as same type attack bonus or stab. Man, that's the first hint they give? That's pretty advanced gameplay right there. A kid just awoke from a long nightmare they had in the Sinnoh region. That sounds unpleasant. Have any Pokemons I can withdraw? Nope. Nope. Not what I nope. Not what I meant to do. See if I got a potion waiting on me. Ooh, yeah. I can toss items? I just saw that. Alright, I guess I'm unpacked. Wait, what is in that package on your table? I don't know, I just tried to open it. It's your stuff. Looks like everything's here. Oh, there's an envelope here. Looks like there's a TM in here. It must be your gym's signature move. Poison Jab. Put the TM74 away in the HM pocket. You should probably head to the town hall now. Well, don't mind if I do. Where is that now? Let's presume, for just a moment, that I don't know where that is. Let's just say... Oh, is that it? Where all the people are crowding?
Alright, now that everyone is properly shaken, it's time to lay down some new rules. The city's no longer named Umball. Its new name is Garbage City. Next, everything here belongs to Rogue Riders. You can keep the New Age City junk, but you will hand over your HP ups, revives, and rare candies. Next up, this one's important. Don't help out the new gym leader. In fact, you should run him out of town as soon as possible. Finally, I don't like it when some idiot stares at me and doesn't say anything. Got something to say about that punk? Alright, now I'm mad, get ready to faint.
I guess we're fighting right away, huh? Rough Rider Racer. Imagine coming into town, talking smack, with your level 4 puppy dog. You got a level 4 puppy dog. Come in and start messing people up. Oh, come on. Don't do a potion. I already did it. Too late now. Did you like that, Mac? Yeah, the voices are hurting today, but it's alright. They don't hurt that bad. I thought it was going to heal again and I was going to get rough. Nice, good boosts, good boosts. Scraggy. I don't actually know Scraggy's type. He might be a fighting type. He was! Nice. Nailed it. Ooh, yes. That's a good boost right there. That's a rare doodah right there.
You gotta be kidding me.
You got $160 for winning. Gonna get rough like the dog.
But how? Get out of my way.
Oh, not the mayor. Mr. Meyer, Mr. Meyer.
Ah, Chick, glad to see you came. I guess I'd better tell you what you'll need to do, or need to know. Please have a seat. First of all, you know a gym leader cannot use Pokemon they don't share a type with their gym. However, there is a caveat. You can use a maximum of 2 Pokemon that do not share a type with your gym. They have to know your gym's signature move, though. Also, if you lose too many battles in a row, you forfeit your status as gym leader. Same goes if the public isn't too fond of you. Keep the people happy and your Pokemon strong. That is the base upon which great gym leaders are formed. Helping people out can help bolster your reputation. Try asking around, especially if someone appears frantic, or if they are looking around. just if they're looking around. If you see anyone that has their eyes open, talk to them. If their eyes are open, they probably need help. Also, you can put your money into helping improve the city by erecting buildings. Talk to the man at the desk for plans, and he can help you invest. Finally, you can recruit people to join your gym as gym trainers. Check your mailbox to see if anyone has applied. It can help boost your reputation. For starters, you should get a gym guide to assist you. Why don't you head home and check your mail? There may be some applications waiting for you. This is like a sim. I love this. It really is just like a sim. Looking for building plans? Welcome. How may I serve you? 10 grand, 25 grand, and 10 grand. That sounds like advice for 2022. If someone's eyes are open, they probably need help. I mean, odds are. If we're being honest. Takes for everything to get done around here. Well, not anymore, because I'm here. I'm here to help. I don't like that all of you call him the man at the desk. It just feels like a weird thing that everybody does. I'm glad I can run inside. That's kind of fun. So I feel like I should go grind. I feel like I should go grind down here. I mean, I got nothing but time, but I also would like more Pokemons. Maybe I should save it for whenever I have more Pokemons, so I can do some leveling. Mailbox. There's no mail here. Did he mean my literal mailbox? He did. 3 applications here. Which one do you want to check out? Gym guys, old gym guys, or gym girls? Well, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of just having a resident old person. But you know what? I am masculine presenting, so we're gonna go with gym girl so that we have right from the get-go. We have balance in this place. Alas is looking to take a break from training. This choice would definitely get people looking your way. That's weird. That's a weird comment. Your reputation would grow fast, but stronger trainers will visit your gym more often. Hang on. Let's read the other options. A tried and true choice, a safe bet all around. If this is your gym guide, oh, it's like a difficulty level. That's what's happening. Steady rate, call them. I guess old guy's gonna be easy, huh? An old retired man bored with just sitting around all day. Wouldn't be too popular, reputation won't go out much, but you wouldn't have to worry about veteran trainers as much. Okay, so it's hard, it's medium, easy, or hard.
No, I'll go with medium. Though I'm tempted to just go with hard. I'm tempted to go with the max difficulty because it is Pokemons. And I'm good at Pokemons. I'm okay at Pokemons. Maybe I should not put all my eggs in one basket. We're calling Gym Guy.
Hello there, champ in the making. Sorry, force of habit anyhow. Who is this? Oh, you're Jack. Glad to meet you. All right, I'm available tomorrow. Will that work? We will talk then. Thank you for your time. Click. Hello, Jack, it's me, Mayor Dalton. It seems I finally found where I wrote down your number. Just wanted to check on the application process. You found someone? Great, you'd better rest up. You have a big day tomorrow. Anyway, I was just checking in. Have a nice day.
Can I catch some Pokemons? Should rest up. Can I have some Pokemons, actually?
Good morning, Jack. Now that you're situated, allow me to introduce the gym trainers that previously worked here.
I'm Jimmy. She's my sister, Sandy. We'll give it our all if you give your all as well.
Gym trainers are a vital part to any gym. I recommend checking your mailbox often for new recruits. Anyhow, while you're at it, you are tasked with facing trainers for the duration of your hours. Take down each one, and whoever beats you gets a badge. Remember, too many losses will force you to give up the position. You won't be forced to open the gym every day, however. When the gym opens and closes, it's up to you. But don't stay away too long. You still have a job to do. Just walk into the gym, and if your team is in order, you'll begin the day. Oh, and since you're just starting out, your team needs to have exactly 3 Pokemon before starting the day. No more, no less.
What? Hang on a second. I can have 3 Pokemon. Okay, he's about to say it. Rise up in the ranks, you will have to increase the amount you use to 6 to help ensure you can keep up with opposing trainers. Okay. For now, just focus on getting everything in order. All right. He's gone. Finally, I can stop keeping the smile up. You better keep up. We don't want you lazing around like the last gym leader. Look, nothing personal against you. It's just that the last gym leader really left this place to ruin. It was a shame, too. He was so kind the first few months he was here, but the gym leader just stopped caring one day. Most of the other gym leaders left, and everyone in the city petitioned to kick him out. I have no idea what happened, but if anything happens, you better tell us.
Yo, what's up, champ in the making? Like it? I've been practicing. I'm ready to work, Jack. I promise to be the best gym guy possible.
Talk about a mood killer. I guess it's all right. We were getting a bit overzealous.
Yeah, at least this guy is pretty high energy.
I like Jimmy and Sandy. They're sassy and fun.
Oh, on my way here, the mayor had stopped me and told me to give you these numbers.
The gym leader hotline and the Humble Police. What is this game?
These are some important numbers. I'd keep them in mind if I were you. Now then, when do we begin?
The day is yours. To start the day at a gym, walk up to the front door with a compatible party. Okay, well, I need to catch some Pokemons first, so I guess I gotta buy some Pokeballs. Thank you. Throwing a Premier Ball. Appreciate that. Nope, nothing else you can do for me. Oh, you also are here. Ooh! Okay, so 3,000. Very nice. Okay, nice to know. Nice to know. So we need to be saving up. Buku Dolores. Move Maniac on every single move. Nice, okay, so be on the hunt for hard scales. Move Tutor. I don't need any of those, as a matter of fact. Okay. We gotta go find some places to train. And I'm gonna need another poison type. You spare a potion? Yeah, of course. I am the new gym leader. Oh, we already talked earlier, didn't we? You were rude then, too. Alright, Craggy Pass. Don't think there's gonna be any Pokemons that are poisonous here. I'm trying to even think about what poisonous Pokemons there are. I could have Nidoqueen. So if I find a Nidoran that is a lady, that would also be helpful. Ekans is one that pops immediately to mind. Technically, Bulbasaur is a poison type. Just saying. Just saying. Technically speaking. So I wonder, will only poison types show up? Is Wurmple a poison bug? Ooh, I'm almost dead. Whoopsie doopsie. Please don't kill me, Wurmple. I should be able to catch that. But I don't know if you're a poison type. That's what I'm saying. This made me have to like rethink everything. Oh good, they also have that built in. That's nice. No, Wurmple is just bug. I cannot use him. No, I'm not ready. Caterpie is also just bug. Now, Weedle? Weedle might be poison. I think it's pretty likely, actually, that Weedle is poison. Ooh, boy! Right, we're going to the Pokemon Center. Post haste. Please don't find me. Please don't find me. I hope it doesn't cost money or something to heal. Thank goodness. Alright, we're gonna turn to Legoog then, because I need help. BRB, little one needs help with schoolwork. All good, Mac. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate ya. Poison Pokemon. Zubat, Oddish, Venonat. Yeah, there's tons. Muck. So Ghastly is technically poison. Coughing. Coughing would be a good one. Yeah. Arceus is poison type? Since when? Okay. Yeah, there's tons of poison types. We just gotta find them. Okay. Whoopsie. Off we go. So, is he in my party? So I can catch the Pokemon, I just can't use them in my party. Or I can't use them in my eventual final party. Fascinating. Alright. Who are you? I'm the daycare man. I help take care of your precious Pokemon and trainers. Okay. And they really built in everything, huh? We gotta find us a poison type. Fomantis? I don't know. Let's see if Fomantis shows up. This isn't just Gen 1, is it? Fomantis. Fomantis. Not seeing ya, Bibs. Not seeing ya. Sorry, Fo. My concern is that it's going to be like a situation a situation where you can only catch 2 different types. Then you got to release them. I don't know how true to a Nuzlocke this is. Show me. Show me what a real trainer's like. All right, I'm going into casual mode. Your boy's already wearing out. Wearing out hardcore here. It amazes me how once you're sick, you just get tired so quickly, you know? All right. You're going down, Rattata. Your Rattata doesn't stand a chance against my Sniffles. tea would actually be really nice, but I don't have it. Brewed. Okay. Rattata, no! I already beat him. He seems a little upset about it. Am I wrong? Maybe I didn't beat him. More tea. I need it, Sneaky. I need it. Tea sounds really good. I actually found something today that I've never heard of before. Irish breakfast. I have 4 HP? Since when? Where did this level 11 Rattata come from? Good. Woof. Okay, let's go heal up. Heal up time. On the bright side, the music is actually really good. I was going to ask how you're feeling, but casual mode answered my question. Yep, I'm feeling rough. It was a really long weekend, but hopefully you're feeling okay, Sneaky. How was your weekend? We're glad you're here. Great, another gym leader. I love how no one is happy to see me. That's so funny. Nice, dude. Nice, dude. Weekend was busy. Boys are back doing sports on Saturday, or Saturday was all over the place. Ugh. I'm not emotionally ready for that. Can I say that? We're currently doing dance once a week, and it's like difficult to find an hour. You know? I can't imagine. Yeah! Can I check my reputation? I'm gonna sneeze. Ooh! Ooh boy! Let's see if that cleared anything up. Sorry, folks. I promise I'm trying not to be disgusting. You just gotta believe me. I haven't saved. We're doing 2 different sports for the first time, so we were literally driving from one game to the next. So I had a buddy in college that did 1 sport, 1 art, always, perpetually. So they weren't allowed to do 2 sports at once. What's up? What did you just say? Remember, if you can overcome 5 out of the 10 riddles in this cave, I will reward you. What's up, bro? Alright, well, this is where I'll get a Zubit. Guess not. Guess I'm a liar. This is where I sure thought I'd get a Zubit, not a Golett. That was pretty much the last Pokemons I was expecting. But okay. Kind of a waste of a potion. So I guess canonically speaking, I will be able to take the money from children that come and fight me. So that means that in the story of Pokemon, the way that gym leaders get paid is by fighting children. That's exactly what it means. If I take money from the kids that come and fight me, then that means that that's how gym leaders make their money. If that ain't capitalism at its finest. What's that TikTok? Capitalism really popped off today, ladies. That's insane. That messes up the whole canon of Pokemon in my brain. Man, this guy's really tough. Beat them up and steal their lunch money. For real, though. These 10-year-olds travel the world fighting gym leaders, and the way that gym leaders make money is by just destroying the children that come to take them on. I gotta heal. I'm gonna go heal. I need to find another poison type. 2 more poison types. I need 2 poison types. I wonder how time passes in this game. Have they addressed that? There's not like a night-day cycle, so... Maybe they don't time me until I beat my first... Until I get my first 3, you know? That's gotta be it. I don't think they would do me like that. The cavern. The cavern of knowledge. Come on! I need a poison type! I don't need a steel. Oh! Is this your first test? Okay. I do understand now how this is a riddle. I get how this is a riddle, but I thought they were asking me to do math, and I was about to be like, that's not a riddle. Okay, how many Pokemon are in Gen 2? It'd be 251. That's very funny. It was my understanding there would be no math. That's very funny. I just wasn't expecting math right from the get-go, dude. Wait, is Beldum? I doubt it. Yeah, no shot. Please give me a poison type. With the power of a legend, although not quite, this beast came with Region 4, but was the 5th of its kind. What's up? What gen is Tyranitar? Tyranitar, wait, Region 4? Tyranitar is Gen 2. Garchomp is Gen 4. Salamence is Gen 3. So I'm going to say Garchomp because he's the only Gen 4 up here. Did I get it right? Was that a yes or a no? The world may never know. Still not a Zubat. That's also not Aron. Why he look like that? Why the boy look like that? Why he look that way? Are there regional variants in this game? Because that don't look like any boy I know. If might made right, who would be king? What? If might made right, who would be king? I don't know. Oh, is this a Game of Thrones clue? I don't know Game of Thrones. No, maybe not. Might made right. I guess it'd be Rampardos. Wrong! Deoxys? Is it just saying who's the strongest? The most strength? Which is the strongest Pokemon? Literally, I'm assuming, because it was Deoxys. Where am I? Who am I? You ask as you look down. There is a face staring back, or it was yours a long time ago. I'm gonna guess you mask. Seriously, no poison types, huh? Just no poison. They just aren't gonna give me poison. No! No, I don't want your Golett. I don't want it. A creeping darkness, a wall's bane, growing stronger as the time passes by. I don't know what Nightmare does. I feel like toxic. Yeah. Thousand arms weaving together, something spectacular. Something no one can live without. Of what? That's not a Pokemon. Oh yeah, that's the sarcophagus. Oh, I just get to keep guessing, huh? I guess Arceus. I guess the answer's Jesus? The answer is Arceus, which I guess means Jesus? I can't do that yet. Oh boy. That Aeron does not look right. Does not look right. Amanda, please. Perry says, Amanda, please. I am like everyone, but no one is quite like me. I am a legend. Some might even say a myth. Just showing off my Pokemon knowledge. A long time ago, this creature roamed. On this day, it continues on. What is this game? I'm a gym leader. I'm training to become a gym leader. I can only use poison type. And I can't find any poison types in this cave where you would think there would just be Zubats galore. But there sure ain't. Still don't know what's wrong with that Aeron. Something's wrong. So I'm just, the Golett is the one you're probably thinking of. He's a golem. Innocence, purity, maybe a little mischievousness. What embodies this best? Not really a riddle. Traps keep you close and saplings steal your strength. You need to clear the field. Did I answer all of them? Was that 10? Has anybody been counting? I feel like that was all 10. It seems pretty clear they're not going to give me a Zubat, so I'm just going to leave, I reckon. Good news is that I don't think I've failed running away once. It's clear this game is not out to waste your time. This prize better be good. So are all these actual Pokemon just recolored? No, they're all the right colors except for Aron. Everyone has been the correct color except for Aron so far. Alright, I guess I got a prize because I answered all this guy's riddles. I did it! Give me a prize! Oh! Yeah! Black Belt Ken, welcome! Welcome in, bud! I wasn't expecting that to be my reward. Answer me these riddles 3 and I'll come work minimum wage at your place. Answer me these riddles 3. Are you hiring? Ah, that's great. I just want a poison type, dude. I just want a poison type. Do you have a 401k? Do you do dental? That's it. I apply. Those were my 3 questions, I guess. Cool. Cool. I propose we all start pursuing jobs by asking riddles 3. What a world. You make your potential employer do work and you offer to work for them. I'm gonna work for you. Do this for me and then maybe I guess I'll work for you. Yep, just continuing the pursuit of the poison Pokemon. I like his gumption. That kid made me work for him. Man, he's good. I like the cut of his jib. Please. Thank you. Peace and love, peace and love. Can I have a poison type? Come on. All I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted is a poison type Pokemon! So something that he mentioned is that I can have 2 Pokemon that are of different types, but they can learn my super move. So it's possible, maybe I need to be on the lookout for somebody that can loin. I said that unironically, you guys. Learn Poison Jab. So there's a chance, maybe Rattata can learn Poison Jab, and that's why they keep throwing it at me. I unironically just said loin. Completely, clearly I've done too many impressions at this point. Loin. Oh, when's he ever gonna loin? Oh, that hurts my throat so bad. Instantly awaken any Pokemon. That's a nice thing to have. When will this Rattata have a loin? Alright, well, Rattata's gonna be the first one we're gonna try it on. Which I guess means his name needs to be Brian. Because that's what I told Zando. I really hope Rattata can learn. Maybe I should look it up. Bulbapedia! Bulbapedia! Friends, if you don't have Bulbapedia bookmarked to your browser, are you even a Pokemon fan? I think not. No. I don't know what gen this is, but I don't see I don't see poison jab. Grand. The adventure continues. No. Do not you dare name that Rattata. Let me get away. I gotta go heal. Let me get away. Because you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna show me a poison Pokemon as soon as I'm like on death's door. Let me go! Cherubi, I swear, honey, if you can learn Poison Jab, I'm gonna lose my mate, okay? You look like something that would be able to learn Poison Jab, I'm afraid. You cannot. But this is also... I don't know what gen we're going with. Okay, no, we cannot. Good. Okay. Let me go. Okay. Time to heal. Time to heal. And I don't know where we're going to find anything that can learn Poison Jab. Blah, blah, blah. The hunt continues. I still don't know how to check my reputation, by the way. Weird set of Pokemon that can learn that move according to Bulbapedia. Uh-oh. I didn't even think about looking it up by move type. Is Wurmple one? Because I have a Wurmple. It would make sense. It would make sense that Wurmple could learn it. Or maybe Silcoon or Cascoon, or what are the Beautifly and what's the other one? Duskox. Can any of those learn it? Neria 1. Beep bye. Beedrill, Ekans, Beedrill. Okay, so I need to find a Weedle. Sandshrew? Interesting. Mankey? Poliwrath? Good to know. Good to know, good to know. Machop, that's good to know. Bellsprout? Very curious. Hitmonlee? You would think it would be the opposite. You would think it would be the punchy one, not the kicky one. Yeah, the fighting. Very interesting. Any fighting except for Hitmonchan. They just chose Hitmonlee in particular. Has gloves, no chopping. Impossible. Look, I suspend my disbelief a lot for Pokemon, but you're gonna tell me that Hitmonchan is gonna jab? Impossible. You've taken it too far. We can't keep letting you get away with this, you madman. All right, well, I guess I'm just... Oh, Shroomish. Doubt it. Shroomish. Pretty sure he was Gen 2. Was he Gen 3? I guess I could command find, huh? Nope. No luck! I don't know if dual typing counts anyway. It might. Man, what am I gonna do? Have I fought you yet? You know what? There was another section to the left. Maybe we'll check that next. Be bye. We'll go heal, and then we'll go to the left. See if we can find anything there. But I can't even start the game. I can't even start the game until I get 3 poison-type Pokemon. Okay, the Craggy Pass. I should have saved. I mean, healed. Sandshrew can learn it! What? Let's get after it! Poison that little boy! Yeah! Nothing else I'm gonna do is really gonna do anything. But I'm not very well gonna just waste Pokeballs. Pokeballs. What's all the goobers standing in the fences? Yeah, they're all goobers. They're waiting for me to build a building for them to work at, I think. I kind of wish it was more Stardew-esque where you could buy babies to raise and use Exploring to train them. That would be so good. That is such a good idea, Ravenrook. Will you please remake this game for this delightful person? Or reach out to this delightful dev and say, hey, I got a way for the game to be even better. Farming sim. Nobody's making those nowadays. Brian! Yes, we found our Brian! Wow. If I do say so myself, welcome to the team, Brian. Disliking water. A classic Brian thing. Brian's exclusively, dude, exclusively drink Mountain Dew. Hate water. Adds up. Adds up. Brian! All right, I gotta go heal. So of my 2 poison-type Pokemons so far, they're not really poison types. They're barely poison types. I've never considered Nidoking to be a poison type, and I've definitely never considered Sandshrew to be a poison type. Oh no, someone's PC. What am I doing? I'm gonna go drop off my other Pokemons because I don't need them. You're useless. Useless. I do not want to access a PC. No, I don't want it! Okay. Hard rec for everybody. If you aren't watching Cyberpunk Edge Runners, go check it out. It's real good. I recommend it. Highly. I really enjoyed it. I want to know, can you show me? I want to know from people that haven't watched Cyberpunk if they still like it. Which of the 5 million streaming services is on Netflix? I guess I could have 2 Sandshrew, couldn't I? Nothing's stopping me. I could always have 2 Sandshrew that both know Poison Jab. I will say that definitely watch it when really no eyes can see what you're watching. Because it is quite adult. But it is also just really exceptional anime. It's Studio Trigger, so you know it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I did also realize I could be teaching Sniffles Poison Jab. It's a much stronger move than Poison Sting. But that'd be too smart. I got a loin. I mean, what's stopping me? We'll keep this as our backup. I won't plan to use this, but... And this one will be Brian with an eye. Ah! I love it so much. I love it so much. That's so good. Okay, all right. I cracked myself up. Can this only be used once? I need to know. Do I have to buy this from the shop? We're gonna teach it to Brian just in case. Most TMs are indeed once. Look at how much stronger it is. But that would be so silly if this is my like team move and I have to buy it every time. Good, good, good. Okay. Couple of Brians. Oh man. You guys, nobody makes me laugh as hard as me. If you're not able to laugh at yourself, what are you even doing? Brian! Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm gonna explore a little bit more of this area and then I'm gonna go take on my gym leader. I trained my thug Pokemon against the most rugged rock types. You can't win. Yeah, if only I didn't know Peck. That's where they get you. So now I have a rock type move. I don't actually have a sand type move because that isn't a thing. I mean ground type moves yet. I wish I could catch his Weedle. I'm gonna win. This is good grinding right here. Level me up, baby. I'll be a Nidorino in no time. Then I'm gonna go buy me a Moonstone. Then you're gonna be dealing with the biggest of boys. Yeah. This music is rad, by the way, up here on the rocks. Oh, look, it's a Brian. Bye, Brian. Hello, Rock and Rolla. Heyo! I'm sorry. Who is Smeltix? Smeltix, yo? I don't think that's right. Is it a fire type? Hey, Barry, would you look up if Smeltix can learn Poison Jab? I gotta know what Smeltix learns. Nope, it's Steel type. Oh no. Smeltix, dude, get away from me. Get away from me, Smeltix, you abomination. Smeltix. Ooh, boy. What's Geodude? Geodude. Geodude. Whoever Smeltix, Deltix. I was trying to figure out how to make that joke, and I'm so glad that you did. I'm so glad that you did, Sneaky, because that was right where my brain went to, and I'm too fogged to even come up with a joke. I found a rare candy. How rare can it be if I found one? What did you do? Smeltix. I don't know. He wasn't that bad. He looked kind of cool. But only kind of. He looked exactly a little cool. And not a bit more. What moves does Brian know? Brian's very serious and also mischievous. Weird balance, that. Nothing helpful. Okay. I'm just gonna run. It's like a rock fire onyx. I think a steel fire onyx, but yeah. Because it was immune to poison, which I'm pretty sure steel is. Oh man. Which is why I need a water type. That Poliwhirl's looking real tempting. I feel like I'll be able to find a Poliwag pretty early. Surely. Smeltix. Get out of here, buddy. There's another cave up here. Oh my goodness, there's so much to explore. Okay. We need to heal though. I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna try and take on my first day of gym leaders just so I can get a better perspective of where I need to be. Because if level 14 is like nowhere near where I need to be, then that's fine. I just need to know that. You know? What's up, Timber? Does Timber learn it? He's a fighting type. Timber do. Timber do. I don't want to kill him though. It's real close to killing him. All right, what's Timber's name? First thing I see in the chat, my friends. Do we keep up with the Brian motif? Timothy Burr? Just Bran. 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 Two N's for some reason. Bran. Oh, was it a lady? I didn't even notice if it was a lady. But I'm only allowed to have 3 Pokemons on my team at once, I think. If I understand it correctly for this first one. Brawn would have been a great one. Brawn would have been a really good one. Okay, let's drop off Brian with an I. No, do not continue box operations. No, do not. Do not, in fact. Not having a B button is very irritating. Okay, let's go ahead and teach. I do. I would like to teach Bran. Brawn is so good, though. Bran needs it instead of Leer. Because it would be nice to have a normal move. 1, 2, and poof. Oh, ta-da. Thought it was poof. I'm gonna go ahead and save. This would be real fun to play on the phone. I wonder if there's an APK yet. Start the day? Yes. This will be a net loss for you. It really just starts them right up, huh? I thought maybe I would get the chance to, like, customize or to watch them fight my other trainers. No. Sure don't. Do I get to heal between each battle? So far they're all under level 10. Wants to learn Fury? Yes, absolutely. He will forget. Focus energy. I don't need crits. I will not. Keep these bugs coming. You bugs do not stand a chance. What a buzzkill. Man, that lost bite. So sure enough. Sure enough. I'll show you what I got. Okay. I take children's money. Gym leaders get paid by demolishing children. Shameless. Brian. Brian, come destroy. He's so tiny. Is he normally that tiny? Is he normally that tiny? He's so little. Doesn't he feel little? Have I lost it, or is he littler than normal? I swear he's little. I don't know what I should do. He is a little, like he's like, it's like someone shrunk him. Level 4, homie? Oh yeah, you don't stand a chance. Well, I'll be. Show you next time. Update went by 10. Maybe it's worth my time. Ace Trainer. Wonder how many I take on. How long is a day? 3? 5? A 10? Ooh, fairy type. I don't know fairy type very well. Am I strong against it? I don't know, but I killed it anyway. Hone Edge, I will switch my Pokemons. I think fighting type is strong against steel. I really hope. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Brian. No, Brian. No, Brian. Man, you are useless here. Yo, nothing affects Hone Edge. Uh-oh. I'm getting a little worried. I'm worried he might be paying out to this child, you guys. Even with low defense, there's no way we can do enough damage. And I don't think I have any potions. Do I? I have 1. And a revive. If I could get sand attacks on it, there's a chance. But that means they'd have to survive long enough. It's really risky. This is very, very risky, but it's really all we can do. Didn't even get in 1, dude. Ah! Yeah, I think we lost. I don't even want to waste my potion. Dang, dude. That hone edge. Went down by 10. They better heal me, right? Okay, so it's 4 so far. Wait, am I taking her on again? What's up? I'm taking her on again? Okay. Alrighty then. We're gonna start strong with this accuracy nonsense. Doesn't matter how fast you can hit if you can't hit. Except you have yet to miss a single time. Seems like you're redoing the battle, but you lost 10 reputation and $120. So I guess I just keep going until something gives. Very interesting. Oh, I forgot that. Low kick doesn't either. Dude, use your brain, homie. And I'm just going to keep losing to it. It has yet to miss. Homie, what is the point? What is the point of sand attack? I just gotta try to lower his defense. He has yet to miss a single time. He has yet to miss a single time. Explain that to me. It's just not enough. I'm never gonna be able to beat the Hoon Edge. Oh, good. Well, at least now I have a Nidorino. Which for all intents and purposes means I have a Nidoking. As soon as I have $3,000, which ain't happening anytime soon as long as I keep getting taken down by cool trainer Linda. 4 trainers, okay. The break room. Yeah, definitely go to the break room. Yo, Champin', I really need to stop doing that. Anyway, how's the day treating you? What with those Rough Riders, by the way? They always seem to go after you, almost exclusively. Hey, the gym trainers were going to train today. Sometimes your gym trainers won't train. If you train with them, they will help to improve your reputation. Want to join in? Yeah. You trained. Their respect for you has grown. Oh, well, I kind of wanted to go talk to my other person. Okay. Do I go to bed? Do I have to? I don't know the rules of the game. You should get some rest. Okay. Yes. You gain some revenue. How much revenue you get is dependent on what buildings you have. Okay. I don't think I have enough money for buildings yet. No. Not even close. So I guess I need to go grind some. See what else you have. Do you have anything else to offer? No. How about a poison booster? They don't have a poison booster? Oh, these are all evolution based. Phooey. Man, that Hone Edge is gonna be really tough. Is it just gonna keep going? Is this like the first wave I have to take down? I could see them doing something like that. Alright, well, good news is I have trainers over here that I can take down, so let's do it. Let's go grind, baby. Brian! Brian! Nope. And as I understood it, he told me I can't have more than 3 on my first round. I'll unlock more member positions as I continue. So I definitely overspent on Pokeballs. Meltix, dude. Can't get enough of them.
Boom! I'm a normal guy that says normal things like boom. That's me, normal guy. Hey, what's up? It's me, normal guy, who yells boom at people as they walk by. Me, normal guy. Wild and crazy guys.
Where are you guys finding all these Zubats, huh? Anybody want to tell me where the Zubats are? Because I need them. No, I don't want to use Defense Girl. Not even a little bit. Goofy Gus. Nice, $240. Rock type. Oopsie, wrong button. Oh, good. Wait, what is the formation? Can't see it. Same as before. Stronger than me, Vorm. The new gym leader. Let's see how I handle my team of cuties.
I love demolishing cuties. I'm here to demolish cuties and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I still haven't figured out what Flebebe's weak to. Oh, poison. $500? Love this. Ah, they spell woe wrong. For shame, for shame. Ooh. Ooh! Chinchou, you changed your design up, huh? I like it. I like it. I'm gonna goal it. Bran, do your thing. He just looks small. It doesn't? Why ever not? It sure should. Is he a ghost type? That must be a ghost possessing that rock. That's the only logical thing I could think of. I see I miss, but Honedge never does, huh? I miss twice, but Honedge never once misses. Ain't that a kick? No. Fletchling, will I switch? I will. Brian! Brian, go throw a rock at this bird! Brian, where are you? Come throw a rock at this bird really fast and hard. Just throw a rock at it. I want to know what my reputation is. When do I get to check my reputation? Ooh, nice. It's so weird. The general trainers are so easy. Cold Steel. That's pretty rad. It's a pretty rad name. Pretty rad name for a cave. A nerd definitely named that cave. A weeb. Cast iron sounds like fire. Not very helpful for me in my Zubat situation. I might just have the squad I have. No, there was a thing over to the right. There was a thing over to the right. Let's go check that out. I don't need this. There was definitely a thing over to the right. Let's check that out. Because it was like raining or whatever. Oh, that's a normal Onyx. I think I'm beginning to understand. Onyx is a regional variant. Smeltix is a regional evolution of that variant. They did kind of like they did with coughing. Where they made a British coughing. But it got me all excited because I thought for a second I found a shiny. Ooh. Thought I found a shiny and I got all excited. Miser Marsh. Ooh, Marsh sounds like poisonous. They call me Mr. Fish. Do they? I have plenty of poles for aspiring fishers out there. Would you like one? Welcome. How may I serve you? I'm sorry, they're all $0? Then obviously I want the super rod. You losing your mind, Mr. Fish? Obviously, I want your most expensive rod. Which, of course, also happens to be your cheapest. How you like that? Oh, you don't talk, huh? I think it was F. Come on, Poliwag. Nope, not quite. Not quite. Are you poisonous? Doesn't look like it. You're definitely not what I expected to pull. Come on, Poliwag. Or Gyarados. Gyarados, my friend, it appears you are not on the list. Bye. Come on, Poliwag. I'm getting some real cool Pokemon. Maybe I should go with a less good rod. Maybe we ought to go for a good rod. Well, I can just register all the things I want, huh? Poliwag? Magikarp. Ooh, there's that different looking Chinchou. It's almost certainly electric type though. I don't want your weird Chinchou. I don't want your weird Chinchou! Stop coming back to me! Whoopsie.
Where is the treasure?
Oh, holy smokes! Bugcatcher Rob! I don't think I'm supposed to be here yet. You're giving me vibes like I'm not supposed to be here yet, buddy. Why are you so strong? Thankfully, your strength is a bit smaller than your smarts. No, reverse that. You're much stronger than you are smart. That's the one. Nope, you're smart. You're smart. I change it. Change it, but I said actually you are smart. Turns out. So close. Nice! That's what I was hoping for. No! That's not what I was hoping for! Yeah, Brian! Oh, come on, Brian! Yeah, Brian! Heck yes! Brian rules, dude. Brian wants to learn Fury Cutter? Sure. Bug type. I don't need defense. Brian for the win! Brian coming out of nowhere, dude! Nobody knew it was coming, not even Brian! Yes, Brian! Rapid spin? I don't really need that. Bulk up? Maybe. Let me look at it. That's not bad. But no, I don't think so. Roll out! Just survive, Brian. You'll hit him and kill him in one hit. No? 2 hits? Wow. Bummer. Sorry, Brian. I'll miss you, Brian. We might be losing, friends. Man, and after all that leveling, at least we got up a bunch of levels. Classic Brian, you guys. Classic Brian. Oh, we still took it. But there's one more, isn't there? If I can hit it before it hits me. 3 times? Doubt it. Yep. Man, well, you know, this whole thing was a big surprise. I scurry back. I was definitely not expecting that trainer to be that strong. You learn something new every day, though. Well, my Pokemons are all quite stronger. So there's a chance that they can stand up to that cool trainer now with their increased strength. But I also need to know, how much money do I have? 1 grand. I do not have enough yet for a building. Right? Because the buildings were significantly, they were like 5,000, I think was the cheapest one. If I recall correctly. No, 10 grand was the smallest one. So I'm a ways away. Yeah, I'm a ways away. Let's try again. With stronger now. Hey, buddy. Uh-oh, they're different. They're different. Oh, dear. They are different. They're different now. Different trainers show up each day. Good. Good, good, good. No, I'm definitely prepared for this. Who are you, Aran? Can we talk about who you are? You know Dragon Rage? All right, Brian. Bring us home, Brian. Bring us home. Literally anything but that would be good, Brian. Anything but that. Pretty much anything but what you just did would have been good. Don't do it, Brian. Good job, Brian. Bringing it home. 400 Dolores. You for real? How tough is this about to get? $400 ain't anything to level 2. I can't tell if this game is insulting me or complimenting me constantly. How are you gonna send in a level 13 whatchamacallit and then a level 2? Hop up, it said? No, I'm gonna keep this map. I am so confused. You know, poison really makes sense for us as checkpoint, and we're purple. I've been roughing it for 15 days straight. You don't have anything on me. I think I have something on you. Brian, do your thing, buddy. Let's go, Brian. All right, that's number 3. Joey? Jeff. My name is Jeff. Man, they really they took it really easy on me today. How come yesterday was so awfully difficult and then today it's like a breeze? Show them your power, check. Of course I'm in train. How do I check? Oh, maybe on here? Nope, still disappointed. That didn't change. How much money did I make? Nothing, because I have no buildings? Correct. I'm still 7 grand away from buying any buildings. News is judgy. And it's judgy in this game, too.
Do you see what I did? Do you see what I did there?
So funny. Enemy a heart scale. I wish I could find one, honestly. I wish I could find one. You know what? So far, no luck. If I you?
Want to know why this place is called Miser March?
I don't know, Davey. Do I? Only a little bit. Yeah! Take that, jump bluff. Murkrow? Yes, I'll be sending out Brian. Thank you. Let's go, Brian. Brian, he's our guy. Brian, please don't die. Good job, Brian! Yeah, Brian! Continuing to bring it in clutch, Bri. Let's go heal. Peace out, Checkpoint. Have an awesome last bit of stream. See you around the Discord. See you, Sneaky. Thanks for hanging out, my friend. Deuces. Deuces, deuces, deuces. Yep, folks, we are on the home stretch. Last 20 minutes of stream. I've survived. I did it. I did it. Even with whatever this weird crud is, I survived. I made it. I held out. I'm here. I've done it. Maybe not the most high action stream you'll remember, but I did my best. Nice. Poison's kind of underrated, not gonna lie. Poison's kind of killing it. Cramorant? Buddy, do you learn whatchamacallit? You do not. You do not. But you are a cool Pokemon to find.
It is I was the one who spread the rumor. I'm an old man character.
Okay, so you spread the rumor, but is it true though? Come on, no poison for real. Thank you. Toxic spikes? I haven't seen anyone switch out or switch in yet, so I'm gonna say no. Goomy? I don't know what Goomy is weak or strong against. I feel like Goomy might be a poison type. Nope. Goodbye, Goomy. Goodbye, Goomster. Are you full baby's big sister? Hoo-ha-ha. The Dragon's Den, that's pretty metal. Whoever's naming these is I don't know, man. Pretty intense. Okay, well. Didn't exactly work how I wanted it to. I guess I just gotta explore the Dragon's Den. So are there things, are there like clues and hints and stuff in all these caves? Maybe I need to explore the other caves. With the lower level monsters. And I guess my reputation just gets to the point where I unlock the second area or whatever. But again, I don't know how to check my reputation. Why have they not given me a way to check it? I just want to know how reputable I even am. Oh, I don't have any. I could donate my super potion, sure. Interesting. A little charity. Like a little city charity. Alright, well let's explore the caves then. Whoopsie.
Everything is white, everything is shiny.
Ugh, that Aron. No, wrong. I can't remember what affects him. Hey, yo! What's up, Trombone? Let me know clockwise, counterclockwise, and what velocity, my friend. Happy that you're here. Hope all is well. Didn't mean to use that move. Nine months already. That is just wild, isn't it? Okay, good job, Bran. Woobat. No, this will be fine.
Curse you, Woobat!
I don't want to give this guy money. I'm giving this guy money. Doggone it. Ah, I don't have money to give. I don't have money to give. I gotta go through the whole spiel. Six out of 49? Does it only put poison Pokemon in my Pokedex? Or does that mean I've seen 49 and I've caught 6 out of the 49 I've seen? Has it always been that way? For a long time since I played Pokemon. T-Bone, how are things going? Heading home and so ready to lay on it for a bit. I feel ya, I feel ya. Well, if you think of it and you're able to, once you get back and your car is no longer operative, feel free to let me know how hard you want me to spin that sub wheel and what direction. I'm gonna try to just knock him out real quick with low kicks. Full send to the left. I'm gonna say that's counterclockwise. But you got it. Let's go for it. Oh. That wasn't a full send. Let me give you a full send. boy. Ooh. That's green. Which is a gachapon. Gachapon. Excuse me? It's just not playing them. There we go. Thank you. No way! Another spin of the subwheel, Trombone. Another spin of the subwheel. Let me know. Clockwise, counterclockwise. How hard? What are the odds? It could always just be the same one again if you want. Full send to the left again. Brian. Brian, bring us home, buddy. Bring us home. Bring us home. Repeat, 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 and repeat. Here we go. It's not full send. What's it gonna be? Yo, I don't know. Check out the mic. I'll have flow. It is yet another gachapon.
Hey, what's up, Don? Thinking about getting a gotcha.
You're stuck in a cycle. You're stuck in a time loop, Trombone. Another subwheel. No, I'm just kidding. It's a movie game. It's a free movie game. I don't like that it just loops. We're gonna have to get out of this. Not sure if this is Time Warp or Groundhog Day. Column A, column B. Okay. Movie game. Dog, do you want to play the movie game? Or do you want to pay it forward and gift this to Zando tomorrow? If you want to play it, you're welcome to play it. But I don't even know if you like movie game. But if you want movie game, I got a card for you right here. Gift it forward? Alright, you'll gift it forward to Zando tomorrow. Don't let me forget. Pay it forward. That's the Christian, the loving Christian thing to do. Yes! Still sad I missed your book reading on the other stream. I don't honestly remember what we read. Like what page. What happened in that page. Can Nose Pass learn Poison Jab? I doubt it. Nose Pass is a Gen 2 if I recall correctly. No such luck. Sorry, Perry, if you're still out there. Bummer for you, friend. But I was really about to get wrecked by him, that's for sure. Go ahead and cycle. Ugh, why is it over there? That's not how ladders work. That's not how ladders work in Pokemon games. Good, I found all these cool items that I can't use. I'm beginning to feel the slightest bit like I might have chosen hard mode. Exciting news! Tell me exciting news. What's up? What's going down? What's going down in the world of T-Bone? Whoa! Brr. No way! No way did he look the second. You're the staff lead for the yearbook? Chats in the clap for creative one. Somebody gets to flex their creative muscles. What's up? Creative muscles! What did he just do? But of course. Man, this game is trolling me. This game is trolling me. 100. Let me get away. Let me get away. Let me get away. Let me do it. Thank you. Ooh, what's that? I didn't know there was an exit. There's an item down there that I need. I need it. Look the other way. Look the other way. Look back this way. Look the other way. You fool. You fool. Yes. Yes, you never stood a chance. Not to brag or anything, but I was the co-editor of the year of my senior year of high school, even though that was my only time I actually worked on a yearbook because I put so much effort that the staff advisor promoted me to co-editor because she felt that I was putting in more work than the actual editor. That's amazing. That is worthy of the humble brag. Worthy of the humble brag. Folks, it's 3:58. Oh my goodness. I got so into this game. All right, we're gonna get outside of this tunnel. We're gonna find out what's on the outside of this tunnel, and then we're gonna call it quits. All right, this guy turn around with his weird purple hands. Please don't look this way. Ooh, the Badlands. Oh my. Okay, all right. Well, I don't really have anybody to fight in the Badlands is the thing. I guess Sniffles, maybe Sniffles can handle it. I really want to find a, find a place to heal. What are you doing here? Get out! Thought I saw you somewhere that you weren't feeling well, so I wanted to ask how you're feeling. I'm feeling pretty rough. I'm doing okay. I've survived this stream. Level 20. No. Not a level 20. Yes, poison first try. Love it. Alright, I am confused. Yeah, I don't know what I have yet. I haven't gotten a call from the doctor again, so I don't know if I have strep. My test was supposed to be back yesterday, and it wasn't. So I don't know. Sorry, Bran. But yes, I am not feeling swell. Not feeling swell. Not a super potion. Anything but a super potion. Bye, Mightyena. Alright, like I said, I really just want to find a save point. Which I know you can save anywhere in Pokemon, but I want to find like a safe place, you know? don't know if that exists in this game. Zach. I don't know if it exists. It may just be that we're in the danger zone. Is there a map? Nope. Okay, well, we might just be in the danger zone then. I don't want to leave myself in the danger zone for the next Nathan to come back and play this game again, so we're going to get back. That's a mood. I know multiple people, including myself, who are sick with various things in various states. For real, everybody's sick right now. Everybody's sick right now, but if I may be so bold, I'm the sickest. Or at least I'm the babiest. I'm the biggest baby. I do not do well sick. I do not like being sick. Sam, I am. I do not like being sick with green eggs and ham. As soon as I get back to the Pokemon Center, we're going to wrap up. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing our stuff that we normally do to close off the stream. Folks, we are Checkpoint Church. We are really a church. I am Nerd Pastor Nate. I'm really the pastor here of this here community. And we believe three things to be true about every single one of you out there. Number one, we believe that God loves you. Number two, we love you. Number three, we believe that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, we have got an exciting week of streams this week lined up, as we always do. We're going to be streaming tomorrow, Variety Tuesday. If you want to partake in that vote, be sure to hop over onto our Discord, !point Discord on the chat. Will be how you enter into that. Find out when we're streaming this week, what we're streaming, and be a part of even helping us, decide what to stream. So, if you want to be a part of that, like I said, Discord in the chat. Wednesday, we'll be streaming in the morning for our Nerdy Sermon Talkback on our Sunday sermon on Xenoblade Chronicles from this past Sunday. Thursday morning, we'll be meeting from 9 to noon to play some kind of game on my backlog or to finish up a game or whatever I choose to do. That time I kind of hold sacred. And that's it for this week. Kind of a lighter week, mainly for the reason that we had such a heavy week last week. We have a lot of things that are on kind of a loop cycle. So that was just where we wound up this time. We're going to save the game here. Folks, I'm happy that you joined us. Happy that you hung out with us for this stream. I don't know if we have anybody to raid Trombone. Goodness gracious. No, don't talk to her. Don't talk to her. Try my best not to sneeze all over myself. I especially appreciate folks that were kind enough to hang out whenever I sound like this, by the way. You're my favorite people. If you hung around while I sounded like this, you're my favorite. You're my favorite because you gave me a chance, even whenever I sound like crud. It looks to me like Eagle Garrett is live, Just Zach is live, Bonsai Baby's live, Susie is live. Look before starting to drive, the usual options that we rated before we're on, so you should be able to see the usual options. Yeah, all right, we'll go to, I feel like we haven't rated Just Zach or Eagle Garrett in a while. We just rated Bonsai Baby like 2 weeks ago, I think. Let's go for Eagle Garrett because he's got the lower view count right now. Just give him a little boost. He'll be fine. I'm not like worried about his view count, but give him a little boost. So folks, remember, God loves you. We love you. You matter. Until the next time that I see you, I hope to catch you on our Discord right now, but if not, I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Folks, with that, be well. I will try my best to be better. Until then, bye-bye. Oh, I can't do this.